This is Julie Mullins with Stereophile, and we are here today at AXPONA Day 1. And I'm here with Vince Bruzzese of Totem Acoustic, and we have a world premiere of a very special speaker we're going to talk about. Yeah, this is the Tribe Tower Thunderbird. There's a lot of alliteration there, the Totem Tribe Tower Thunderbird. So, yeah, and these are two ways, and there are no parallel surfaces anywhere in the cabinet. And we'll start with the tweeter. It's a graphene.
Yes,
can you tell us why you chose that material?
Well, I'll tell you. In the past, we specialized in this 33 millimeter dome that goes very high in frequencies. But it's not just the frequency aspect that is important. Graphene gives the ability for the surface of the dome to be incredibly regular. Mm-hmm. Our old 33 millimeter domes, we used to try to laser etch them and make them round in that fashion. But with the graphene, it's not necessary, and it gives us more constancy in terms of the more constancy in terms of the dome, let's say spherical nature, and also the calibration of the intensity of the dome. So,
so you avoid that any beaminess,
or anything like
intensity.
That. Makes and very, very smooth articulation and off-axis presentation.
Okay, I was about to say that also being off-axis. That's another important feature for social listening and so on. So
correct.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, these are two ways, and there are two ports on the back, and specially tuned, and we're crossoverless here with these midwoofers. So
we made a point of that our most expensive units, or our most, let's say, high-end units, be Torrent-based. Torrent technology is a technology that we developed, over the years, in the last 10, 15 years. Mm-hmm. But this is a culmination for an intermediate driver. The 6-inch driver that we've just completed for this Thunderbird unit actually took 3.5 years to perfect. Mm-hmm. And this involved
a lot of R&D with the basket
a lot of
and
R&D.
Everything. Here's
so the basket is machined and made here in North America, in fact in Montreal, where we're based. And it's not only the geometry, but the precision that is needed for this particular unit. In addition, the multi-layer voice coil that we use in this has a special fabrication technique that even coats it in a specific way, so there's no resonances. Mm-hmm. And the former is where the voice coil is roundabout, is also not just simple aluminum, but a vanadium extract of that aluminum.
Yeah, you said 3 kinds of metals. Yes.
And there's the aircraft aluminum, obviously, that is used for the facade and the other pieces, so that when they're polished, there's nothing granular inside, but also the 3 different types of metals that are used to further amplify the strength of the magnet. Mm-hmm. And the complex geometry of the magnetic structure is made to, again, exacerbate what we can get out of that magnetic power.
Right, to maximize, and maybe, does it help create less work for the drivers? They can
the more control.
Work more control, but also maybe you don't have to have them work as hard or move as fast because they're contained in a good,
they're
precise way.
Correct.
Is that
the magnetic field.
A good summary?
Yes, absolutely a great summary of it.
Oh, and then let's see, and also they look quite elegant, these surrounds, and they...
We've always made, we think, smaller than the industry standard in terms of size, but the Torrent technology allows us and benefits from the smaller volume approach.
Okay.
And this is a 90 dB speaker. That means it's very efficient. And both on and off axis, it has this amazing dispersion capability. Mm-hmm. And the characteristics are amazing because even if we measure on axis 90 dB off axis, it's also at 30, 40 degrees off axis, you still get that 90 dB
that
presentation.
With that.
So that gives it the latitude to have this incredibly wide staging that we're sort of famous for.
Yeah, well, and also just standing here now, they're playing very quietly, but I'm hearing even just standing here off axis at low volume, I'm hearing some very nice, clear.
Yeah. They don't confuse you in terms of phase. Torrent allows us, with no crossover, both working in the same frequency domain, to have a density in mids that keeps things stable in space.
Okay.
And then the articulation of the bass with the low resonance frequency of this driver, which is 26 hertz, allows us to produce bass that you would not expect out of anything.
Absolutely, yeah. And tell me how the ports play into that also. Well, they're obviously specially tuned for these 2 drivers working in tandem.
They are.
And there's just, it's a 2-way design, so a single crossover as we talked about. And then...
And the ports are actually, because of the complex geometry of the cabinet, they're not the same length.
Oh,
So
interesting.
people
Okay.
would think, okay, they would be the same length. They're tuned and articulated in a different fashion because this part of the chassis sees a different type of wavelength from the lower section. So they have to be tuned independently. And we're very meticulous in that aspect to extract.
It's a critical element. I
It's a
think,
critical
I
element in
imagine.
the
Yeah.
design. But it allows for us to build a very light chassis that dissipates energy quickly. And the greatest contributor to that is this spatial imaging that is just gigantic with every frequency domain, attended to.
And from what I understand in our discussion also, that these would be good in most size rooms. They
Oh,
could,
yes.
they could fill a somewhat larger space, not gigantic, but a larger space than
Yes.
one might expect, or
I
play
agree.
nicely in a smaller to mid-sized room as well. They're adaptable that way, would you
Yes,
say?
well, this is a smaller
Yeah.
to mid-sized room. They play beautifully, but they shine a little bit more if you give them a little bit more space. And we've had them articulating beautifully in 1,000 square foot rooms, but also 2,000 square foot rooms. They were able to, of course, with electronics such as these, we're easily able to, implement them into any size room easily.
And have that power and everything behind them. So great. Yeah. Well, thank you.
Thank you for your time. It was appreciated.